but you don't want to be saying like, okay, where's the run book?
Ooh,
Okay, what was the next step?
ooh.
Oh, wait, I went to step 3, but I forgot step 2. I've been there and I've done that in those types of environments. So anything that you can automate for deployment, go ahead and do that stuff.
Welcome to From Cover to Code, the Technology Book Club. Join us as we discuss artificial intelligence, DevOps, software development, cloud computing, and more. With your hosts, Angela Andrews and Michael Jenkins. The next episode of From Cover to Code starts now.
And we are live.
We're live. We are liver than live. What are you
Back
talking
in
about?
effect. I know. Back in effect for another episode of From Cover to Code.
Another amazing episode with my friend.
It's me.
Yes, with my friend. Like,
I know.
How much more perfect can you get, right?
Exactly. How are you doing today, Angela?
I am doing great. My dog was in the hospital and we brought him home today. So, you know,
that's good.
You're very sad when your pup isn't doing their best, but otherwise everything's great. Work's great, life's great. You know, everything is great except
oh man.
I was a little sad. We had high hopes.
Yeah, high hopes for this chapter. Before we get into that, let's just welcome everybody.
But there's some gems, so don't you be lollygagging. There were gems. We'll share them with you. But yes, welcome. Hey,
yeah, we got Prince Marky D joining us on YouTube. If you're joining us from LinkedIn or YouTube, shout us out. Let us know you're rocking along with us. We really do appreciate that. And yeah, we're just happy to be here broadcasting live for the folks that are joining us in real time. And for you, listener, watcher, who is checking in with us after the fact, thank you for rocking with us that way as well.
Thank you, future listener. We appreciate you.
Indeed. Well, let's get into the meat of this. This is the fourth dive, episode 4 of this particular season. We're covering Hands-on Python for DevOps by Anchor Roy. And as we've said before, there have been some highs and there have been some lows. And this next couple chapters, these chapters that we're going through in this particular discussion, chapters 9 and 10, man, let me tell you, I'm just going to stop right there before I get carried away. Angela, you have any thoughts on these initial thoughts before we get into the actual discussion?
Well, the quote for chapter 9 was killer. It was from the GOAT himself, Michael Jordan. And when you start off quoting number 23, your expectations are like, oh, we about to get into it. We're getting into it. The chapter 9 was using Python for CI/CD pipelines. So let me read this quote. I've missed over 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that's why I succeed. Now, preach.
I know, right? Slow hand clap, standing hand clap for the like you said, the GOAT, Michael Jordan. When I read this quote, yes, my hopes were set so high when I thought about that applied to continuous integration, continuous delivery, because man, when I put up pipelines, when I'm first starting out of the gate, my pipelines fail all the time. I might have, I know, right? I might have, even today, with all the experience that I have deploying pipelines, they might fail dozens of times before I get that one true perfect build that has the green check mark beside it. And I'm like, it took all those failures beforehand to get me to this point, to figure out what I had to do to the application to the pipeline, to the deployment platform, whatever. So yeah, I had hoped to see in this particular chapter, maybe I'm foreshadowing, how that and I mean continuous learning about continuous integration, continuous development is applied throughout the process.
Yes.
We will find that was not the case.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what do we want to talk about chapter 9? I mean, we started off with such a strong quote.
Yeah.
When he outlined what chapter 9 would be, he talked about basic CI/CD tasks using pipeline that can help you understand CI/CD, what it brings to the table, and how important its implementation is. And I put a note here. It has my full attention. Like, okay, all right. That was one of the bullet points talking about what we're going to explore in this chapter. And I was, it didn't really live up, but there are some gems in here.
Yeah.
With technical requirements, which I absolutely need. Send me down. Don't send me to the store without a list. Like,
I know, right?
So yeah, that was pretty good. A Todoist account, a Microsoft account, an AWS account, a GitHub account, and the ability to tolerate a large amount of sarcasm and bad humor.
And he brought it.
Check
that one off. All right. So getting into the beginning of chapter 9, I appreciated the one point that he made. Well, 2 points.
Sure.
Maybe 3. I'm looking at my notes here. They're all over the place. The first one, though, was CI/CD was something that my college course did not teach. Most college courses do not. And I resonated with that so strongly because it's true. Like these software engineering programs and computer science programs, they will teach people how to write the code. They will teach you the fundamentals of a language. Like, this is what a loop looks like. This is what a case statement looks like, et cetera, et cetera. But they don't say, okay, now that you know these fundamentals, let's build an application and put it in place where people can use it at scale.
Exactly.
Maybe a world, maybe you deploy some little web app or something like that, but not even deploy. Maybe you like Heroku it.
Yes.
Or spin up localhost. And maybe you even share that local host on your computer with your, somebody's running on the same network as you.
Yes.
Maybe you do that, but you don't package that into something, put it into place where people can use it on their own systems or at a larger scale than just running it local host on your local system. So that really resonated with me quite a bit.
Yes. So on that thread, I've gone to a full stack coding boot camp back in Philadelphia, and when you're teaching people full stack web development, you would think, some of the first things that you're being taught, CI/CD, DevOps, GitHub. Don't get me started. Thank goodness, we learned, I knew about it from work, but the fact that it wasn't taught in these boot camps or how are you not getting this full experience of the entirety of what a pipeline is, and as opposed to just the fundamentals on a bunch of different topics. So that this is lacking. I agree. That is a part that is lacking in continuous education, and most folks learn it on the job.
Yeah, they learn it on the go. Which kind of goes into like another point that I had where he says, where he was having this story about sharing code with his coworkers or his friends. And he was like, I've got this code. I want people to help me work on it. Why don't I just like email it to them and then they can email me their changes back? It's like, and he has this imaginary friend, his imaginary DevOps persona that he's talking to. And the persona's name is Doug. And Doug says, no, that's what code versioning is for. Like there's a tool, there's a method for that. You don't have to email it and have them email you back. There's a better way to do it. So yeah, those were interesting points from this particular chapter.
For sure. So that was the beginning. He starts with the origins and philosophy of CI/CD, and he sets it up into 3 scenes like a play. And it's his progression, starting with continuous integration and that short conversation he had with Doug. And Doug is a very sage DevOps engineer. He does this. He has this quote where he says, "Do more and you'll learn more."
Exactly.
And that, I highlighted it on 125 when he said that. I was like, oh, I like that. Do more and you'll learn more. And that really underscores the only way to deepen your fluency in anything, be it CI/CD, be it Python, be it whatever. You have to experiment, you have to trial and error, make mistakes, and you learn from your failures. What does it say? That's a teachable moment. So Doug is very sage, and I think he's, guiding our author on his DevOps journey, his CI/CD journey. So he seems like a nice person to have in your ear while you're on your learning journey.
I know I could hang with Doug.
I can get with that. Yes.
All right. So I guess what I wanted to do was like talk about these 3 stages that he set: continuous integration, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment. I had notes and thoughts on all of these, and some agreeances and some divergences, but I think we're all walking in the same direction here. But continuous integration, in his integration description, he really focused on version control and collaboration versus what I think about in continuous integration: the testing, the linting, the acceptance of code as it's merged into the main branch.
That's what I was assuming, but he does liken it to version control. Even so much so, when he's talking about version control and having a history of the modifications of your code, he says, but the purpose of CI is clear. Like, he's clearly talking about CI, but it's version control, which I think it's so much more than that.
Yeah. And so that's, definitely in the CI, you're bringing your code in, but there's so much more that happens in that step. It's not just the version control. You got to make sure your code is, that's the first opportunities, or one of the first opportunities you have to make sure your code is good before you do anything with it. It's like at the integration step. So I hate that he didn't really mention that as a part of the CI step.
I think in the second edition he will expand on that just a bit.
Yeah.
All right.
And then he jumped into continuous delivery. And he said he did mention testing here. However, my divergence is, I think delivery is where you're creating the artifact and you're storing it. As opposed to, I think testing comes earlier in the integration, and then delivery, you're delivering something. You're building it and saying, hey, here you go, whatever that means for the thing that you're building.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. He'll expand upon it in the second edition.
All right. We're just going to use that as a stamp. Just like,
we're helping him out.
I know. So moving on to continuous deployment. I had another Doug quote from the continuous deployment scenario. Doug says, your job is to automate your job to make sure that as little is left to human judgment as possible. And I think that's very important in deployment.
Keep going.
That's where,
the whole quote is definitely a gem.
Yes. Oh, I didn't make a note of it. Go ahead. If you got it, go ahead and read the rest of it. That's the main part that I copied.
You must become an artist, striving to paint your masterpiece with as few strokes of the brush as possible. That's, again, likening it to an art. You want to be able to automate your job to make sure that the human element is out of it in this respect. And I love it. He said, you don't deploy your app, you create a deployment that constantly deploys it for you. So this is more into the automation of it, taking the manual intervention out of it. And he says, well, what if I get it wrong? Well, you don't have to be afraid to get it wrong. Again, do more and you learn more. That's the theme throughout his conversation with Doug and throughout this chapter. And you see his growth as a DevOps engineer as he tells this story.
Yep. Yeah, and what really resonated with me with that particular quote, particularly when it comes to deployment, is you really don't want to be messing around in a console or on a command line when you're deploying to a production environment. You want to have everything as deterministic as possible, so that you just press a button and say go. Yes, and your hands off, and everything does what it's supposed to do. If something breaks, yeah, okay, now you got to figure out what broke, you fix it, and then you press that button again and you iterate on it. But you don't want to be saying like, okay, where's the run book? Okay, what was the next step? Oh, wait, I went to step 3, but I forgot step 2. I've been there and I've done that in those types of environments. So anything that you can automate for deployment, go ahead and do that stuff.
Cool. Let's see. Any more takeaways? I mean, before we had this, 3-act story. Any more takeaways from that story that you want to share?
Well, I mean, the only other takeaway that I had for this one is that I had hoped for more in the CI/CD discussion. So much so, excuse me, that I prepared my own CI/CD discussion, and we can go into that before we get into the next chapter. Yeah, because I think
get into it.
Yeah, everything else after the fact in that chapter, I really didn't appreciate. I have notes on it, but I don't think I want to spend time.
Well, this is where we'll focus.
Yeah, I'd rather use our time and you listener, viewer, your time to talk about something that I hope would be beneficial from this particular chapter. I hope that it would already been part of the discussion for this chapter. So if you are watching along, I'm going to be showing some slides. If you're listening, I'm going to put a link to the slides in the show notes so that you can catch up later in your own time. Okay, and basically I'm talking about Python CI/CD or Python use cases for CI/CD. He mentioned CI/CD delivery and CD deployment, but he didn't really mention the pipeline as it is, like the different steps in a pipeline. And like, this is one of my favorite parts of the discussion because it kind of shows the flow of your code from push all the way to production. And I use push as the trigger that kicks off the pipeline. We've already talked about like event-based triggers that get push to GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, Git, whatever repository you're using. That's the one that's going to trigger your pipeline. And very quickly, I'll go through these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many steps is that? 2, 4, 6, 7 steps in this pipeline. First step, you're going to set up your pipeline environment. Maybe you install some libraries, you install the tools that you're going to be using, and that sets everything up, all the other steps in the pipeline to go. Next is the core integration step, where you're actually running your checks, you're running your tests, you're linting your code, maybe formatting your code, and making sure everything is good before you actually use that code to build anything, which is the next step, where you actually take the code, you build an artifact, and if it's a like container image or something, you can store it somewhere so that people can use it. And that's pretty much the delivery. You just put this artifact in some place where people can get it, or so that you can deploy it to some type of environment. So in my particular pipeline, everybody's pipelines are going to be different. My next stage is deployed to staging. So that's where I'm going to take that artifact and put it in an environment that's very similar to my production environment, but people aren't using it. Only people that I know, or allowed to use this environment can use it. And that's where I'm going to do like my end-to-end test. That's where I'm going to do load testing, that types of stuff. So after I deploy it to staging, the next step is to actually test staging. And in a truly continuous pipeline, if those tests pass, then I'm automatically going to deploy to production. Like, no questions asked. It worked in staging. Everything's good. Let's go ahead and put this into production. Other pipelines might have a gate there that says, hey, test pass, but human person that's monitoring this pipeline, you need to press this button or click this thing or respond to this email, whatever the case is, before the code gets deployed into production. Then you put the code into production, you do what you got to do to make sure it runs, and maybe let people know that, hey, this new feature is available. And then you maybe even run some tests against your production environment. And maybe it's not a load test because you don't want to like dox yourself, or DDoS yourself rather, and take your own site down. But you still want to run some rudimentary tests just to make sure your production deployment worked. So that's like what I had hoped to get, maybe just an introduction into CI/CD, and then learn how Python can help in every one of these stages. So that's what these next few slides are going to set us up to discuss.
That's a message right there.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. First scenario, continuous integration, where you're going to test and analyze. And Python's got so many tools that can be used in this stage. For linting, you got Flake, you got Black, you got iSort, you've got Rough, and there's others that I didn't mention. But all these, like, check your code against well-defined parameters to say, your code shouldn't have unused variables in it. Your code shouldn't have single quotes in a string that should have double quotes. Whatever rules you want to set up, that's what you're linting and formatting for in that particular step. If you're running tests, you got PyTest, you got unit tests, and you're knocking all these tests out early on to make sure your code does what it does at a unit test level, because those tests run quickly. You can check the output. I didn't put code coverage on here. You can do code coverage to make sure you're testing the breadth of your code. And then Bandit, you can do static analysis for application security, looking for API keys and passwords and other unsafe stuff that might have escaped and found its way into your code base. All the stuff you could do with Python in this first step of the CI/CD pipeline. I've been talking a lot. I'm going to stop there for a second and let you jump in, maybe take some comments too.
Definitely take some comments. We have people who absolutely love your visual.
Yeah, Sterling jumps in and says, "Nice visual."
Yes, love the visual. And can you blame him? It really does speak to what I think where the author was heading. Hey, how are you?
Yeah. We got
Good to see
Tickle
you.
Trout in the building.
Yes. I think that would have been a great footnote as he's putting his story together. We're used to seeing, we know what the DevOps, infinity symbol, the DevSecOps infinity symbol, but to have it broken down in such a way where you can see where Python can be so integral in all of these different steps. This book should be a testament to that. And, which is fine. We have Mike here, who's a Pythonista. This is me repping the Pythonistas in the world. I haven't worn this shirt in a very long time. I had to break it out eventually. So this was a great, definitely a great session, book club meeting, to wear this book, to bring more Python into the mix. So
I know. Can we just stop and just have a commercial break for your swag? I mean, let me see. I'm going to let me yeah.
Wait, Python. Oh wait, there's more. Can you see it? How cool. Yes,
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
So we're bringing more Python into hands-on Python with DevOps. So
yes, we had to for this discussion. We had to.
So I have nothing to add to this slide. Again, other than there are tons of Python tools that can help throughout the CI/CD pipeline. And we have a comment from David Morales Weaver, and he uses Python for CI/CD, makes pipelines predictable, saves him hours each week. Yes. Shout out, David. So we know it's possible. We know it's out there. And now we're heading into the continuous delivery phase where there are more tools.
Yeah, and definitely there's a lot to be explored on the Python side for continuous delivery, the first CD. And out of the gate, though, I kind of lean on specific build tools to package. If I'm working with containers, I'm definitely going to use Docker and a Docker file. I'm not going to write a Python script that can do that.
No, we saw
that's what Docker is made
and
for.
Podman.
Podman can do the same thing for you. And then you might even just like tar up a code base, and that is your artifact, or make a zip file, or compile it to an exe or something like that. But if you are like developing a Python application, there are Python specific tools like Poetry or the default Python build module. It's a built-in tool for packaging Python stuff, So there's stuff there that that you can use out of the box. And if you're working with some other language like Java, Go, or Rust, then you've got Java C, Go build, and you've got Cargo to package those types of code bases as well.
That's continuous delivery.
That's what it is. You're just building the thing and putting it somewhere where people can get to it, which leads us to continuous deployment.
That's it.
The final segment of the CI/CD flow. And you're basically, and on this one, I say put an artifact where it can be used. I think I was copying these slides around, but you're actually putting the artifact where it is being used. For deployments, I like to, again, lean on the platform-specific tools. If I'm going to deploy to AWS, then I'm using AWS APIs, CLIs, etc. Same thing for Google Cloud, Azure, and so on. But you can use Python libraries like Boto 3 for AWS or Azure Management, Google Cloud, etc. If you're working with those clouds, there's even command lines for Netlify, Heroku command lines, and so on and so forth. So you don't have to do anything super crazy and like artisanal for deployment to any particular platform. Those folks have already done it for you. They've made the tools, and you can just kind of pick those tools up. For the testing steps, like I mentioned, testing your staging and a truly continuous deployment, you can use the request library in Python or HTTPX to write scripts that actually test the web application, or you can use Locust for load testing an application. And these are all Python tools or libraries that you can just lean on and bake the application or bake those tests into your pipeline with code.
You are teaching today.
I'm trying, man. I really wanted to. I really wanted to pick something up.
This is not my strong suit, so I am learning the lessons right here.
Yeah. So yeah, that is all the more I wanted to say about CI, CD, and CD. But I didn't want to, like I said, waste our time with this discussion without coming away with like some sort of base knowledge that we can all benefit from, to know what CI, CD, CD is, and also know some of the ways that Python can lend itself to those steps of the software development lifecycle.
Yes. So yeah, I think you did that. Is there anything else that we want to talk about in chapter 9? I think you pretty much put a nice little pin in the CI, CD, CD. There were other things that he talked about, the ability to roll back. Let's see what else. Basic tasks. That done in Python. What else?
Well, yeah, he talked, and that's what really confused me. The example that he used with the to-do list.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
Copying. Are we going to talk about it?
I didn't want to because it was less than like I looked at it and I'm like, who would do this? Now there are some tools that you wish you could use your APIs to be able to communicate. These are not the two that I expected, and this it left me kind of wanting something a little bit different. But again, he's showing you the art of the possible, and if it ain't this, it could be something else. I think, right?
Yeah, perhaps.
So not the best example, but showing you what is possible. Just you have to put on your thinking cap and get really creative, because as long as there's an API involved, you might be able to do something similar to this, but in a much more usable and functional application. I think this wasn't that.
It was not that. And just for the sake of understanding,
let's explain it to them.
For the listeners. He basically copied an item from one to-do list app to another to-do list app. And the way that he did it, okay, I can see it. It's a pure Python implementation. So like you said, there's that nugget. It can be done. But there was no CI/CD involved in the explanation. So that was the one thing that kind of left me hanging on that example.
Because I think the chapter is called Using Python for CI/CD Pipelines.
It is.
Is it not? Okay.
It is. Yeah. And he mentioned red black deployments.
Yes.
I understood what he was trying to say, but I think the standard terminology is blue green.
He did mention blue green. He
did
says,
he?
yes, there are many ways to
Okay.
roll back on a deployment. Blue green, where it's 50% on the old instance, 50% on the new. He talked about canary and he talked about red black. He said there are two instances of an app: the current instance, red, and the future instance. You move your endpoint from red to black. If that doesn't work out, you move it back to red. Simple enough. And he put a little illustration for red to black. Most people don't, like you said, blue green is probably the more popular, but he's using this as a way of rolling back. If something goes wrong, you can that was a illustration of not a deployment. Well, it's a deployment method, but to roll back if something goes wrong. That's the section of the chapter that it's in.
Yeah. Well, thanks for clarifying that for me, because I was stuck on my blue green understanding. The one thing that I didn't care for in his rollback implementation, though, and I mean, I know people use DNS to point to new versions of an application. It's just my preference, if at all possible, to handle rollbacks at the application level or like inside the pipeline somewhere. Because if you're changing your DNS, you're going to have DNS propagation delays. Well, you have the potential to have delays in DNS propagation.
Because if you're caching, you're not going to be able to stop where someone goes to the new site or the old site. You've lost control of it that way.
Exactly. Some people might still be seeing the old stuff.
Yep.
Where you push something new and then rolled back, and then they never even saw it, which might actually be a good thing. Or if people get stuck on the bad one, and you're like, no, the new one we rolled back, it's good again, and they're like, no, it's still broken for me. Then they have to wait however long it takes for their DNS to refresh. So I just prefer to point at one load balancer, and we're changing things behind the scenes behind the load balancer. That's my preference.
My last note for the chapter was when he transitioned from the to-do API usage I don't even know, he was going from to-do to Microsoft something or other. Yeah. And his segue to coming into talking about the rollbacks. It was so corny. I had to write in the margins in pencil, this is the worst segue I've ever seen. Like, I just was, because I had to read it more than once. I'm like, what is he like? I don't get where we're going. And then you read on, you're like, yeah, this doesn't apply. So that's me, in my weird sense of humor, like,
yeah. Well, he did say, like, as you mentioned, when he gives us those technical requirements, there's a warning there that says, hey, if you're sticking with me, you're going to get these corny jokes.
Okay. So I should just roll with it. Let's move on to chapter 10. Let's
move on.
That's a segue.
See, I see what you did. I see what you did.
We're going to leave that back there. Let's segue into part 3, the first chapter in part 3. Let's go further. Let's build bigger. That's part 3, and chapter 10 is the first section. In that section, common DevOps use cases in some of the biggest companies in the world.
Yeah. So this was an interesting chapter. The first note that I took, and I guess it's not really the first note, because I read the chapter and then went back to the top of my notes and wrote this particular note that says, there's no Python in this chapter. No. Just analysis of businesses that implemented solutions using cloud platforms and perhaps a DevOps approach. I thought the business cases that he pulled or that he explained, they were interesting in their own right, but they were just that. They were just kind of discussions around how these companies use the cloud to solve problems. Didn't necessarily have a tie to DevOps, and they definitely did not have any ties to Python that I could find.
Now, he did say the way that he's used these cases is meant to represent how they can be replicated using Python, as opposed to whether they have used Python or not. They may have, but that's not pertinent. How dare you? But he warned us.
He did.
You know, the beginning of the chapter, he warned us. So
I must have glossed past that because I'm looking for the quote.
I highlighted it.
Okay. Well, you're a better one than me because I'm looking like from page to page, like where's the Python? Where's the code? You know?
Oh gosh, I was so tickled. There is a quote in the beginning of chapter 10. Shall we? It's by someone named Don Wilson. And maybe he was a government archivist. I don't know this man's claim to fame. He has one quote to his credit, and it's the one I'm about to read. I take great satisfaction in seeing people and organizations achieve goals they might have originally believed to be beyond their reach. So, Don W. Wilson.
Yep.
When I looked it up, that's the only quote that is attributed to him. I wonder if there are quotes out there attributed to Angela Andrews.
I'm sure there are.
There's one. I'm gonna pull it up in my mental Rolodex. I think it is be kind, read books, and use Linux.
Okay. I can dig it. I can definitely
I've said that probably more than once on a podcast I used to be on. That was just, be kind, read books, use Linux. So right. We're gonna see this on the internet one day. One of the gems. Me and Don, we have one claim to fame, and that's our one quote. So
you and Don just rocking it together to the end. Yeah, for sure. When this episode gets indexed by AI, and somebody down the road is doing a Google search on Angela Andrews or the From Cover to Code podcast, that quote is going to pop up.
Yes.
I bet. Yeah.
I love it.
All right. So in this particular chapter, he went through three business cases or three use cases, and each one covered a different cloud. So the first one covered AWS, second one covered Azure, and the third one covered Google. I mean, I guess it's okay that he kind of spread the cases across different clouds. I really don't think the cloud itself was important.
It wasn't germane. Any
examples
of these
that he gave.
Use cases. I agree with you.
Yeah. So that's just kind of one of the observations that I made. The first one, Samsung Electronics, they had disparity between business analysts and data scientists. And again, I glossed through this chapter because I was looking for the code, but the solution to the problem was they decided on a single source of data that both the analysts and the data scientists could use to work from.
Yes, that was the problem that's how they solved their problem. So the use case was the time. I don't want to mix my use cases up. But this one I think was the data scientists had to get feedback from the business analyst, and the business analyst would have to wait for the data science. So there was a lot of waiting going on.
Yeah. I was just gonna say they were using different processes.
Yes.
And so even though they depended on each other, their processes were not in sync with each other. They were not aligned. So once they got that single source of data that everybody was working with, they were more optimized in the way that they worked together.
Indeed. And there was a little line in here, different skills and mindsets exist for a reason. And this is why there needs to be different people with varied roles and perspectives on a team, right? So you understand this problem when you think outside of the box. Everybody has a different way of solving problems. So if you're in the listening business, active listening, when people are telling you that there is something wrong, and you work together in, through communicating what the problem is to come up with a solution that really benefits all parties involved. And there's a line in here that says, by giving both these roles a platform and a workflow with which they would be comfortable, a reasonable way was found for the whole team to work optimally. So problem solved. It had to start with communicating the problem, understanding the problem, and coming up with a solution that really benefited all parties involved. So that was just Samsung, their new workflow for data analytics and how disparate teams can work together, which is literally what DevOps is all about. But
yeah.
I got that use case.
Yeah. So that was a good discussion. I think I what I want to say, like took away more from the next use case.
So did I.
Yeah, I had more thoughts and notes on it. The problem was, well, the company is Intertek. The first one was Samsung Electronics. I can't remember if I said that. This one was Intertek, and the problem was balancing the developing of new projects and maintaining old ones, and also the way that their junior developers and senior developers were working on these projects across the board. So fast forwarding straight to the solution, and I copied this from the book. Intertek integrated Copilot, which is the Microsoft Azure hosted AI platform, into their integrated development environments used by their developers, so that once they wrote a line or two, Copilot simply inferred what their intentions were and wrote much of the rest. The developers simply had to verify a couple of tests, and voila, an efficient code delivery system, one that frees up time and thinking power. So I thought that was pretty cool, bringing AI into the flow and definitely using it to the benefit of everyone. Now, he says that junior devs came up to speed faster on the legacy system, working with Copilot to ask questions about the code base. And that freed up senior devs to work on new projects and systems. Great on both parts. However, the takeaway that it just kind of burned me a little bit is like, there should be some crossover between those two roles. How can those junior engineers ever become senior engineers if senior engineers who have been through the trenches, been on the battlefield, tell them, what the time of day is? They have to mentor them. AI is great for understanding code bases, but for learning the systems, the platforms, you gotta have somebody that's been there and done that to show you the way.
For growth, you have to have someone senior to mentor you in the ways of X. I do like, so I'll give you the good and the bad. You just talked about that was the underbelly. Like, you just leave these young people, younger, newer, could be not younger, but newer, into this older code base. Do they ever get to come out and play, learn the new hotness, get to maybe pair program with the older developers? I do think it's a very great idea to introduce them in the legacy code base so they can understand. You need to know where where you've been, so you know where you're going, right? So I like the fact that was part of the onboarding, that became part of the onboarding, but it has to go a step further. Like, in here it says the senior devs talking about new features and they have spare time. I hope in their spare time that they're mentoring their junior devs. Like, you ain't lollygagging. If you're not involved with the learning and the growth of your junior developers as a senior, you're doing your company a disservice. You don't want to just stick them in the old code base and tell them, go play in that sandbox. We're gonna be over here doing all the cool stuff.
Yeah, I
had that same gut check, like, oh, is that all you did? And we could be reading too much into this, but whatever. This is our book club. We can say what we want.
We could say exactly what we want. And to your point, you're doing everyone a disservice if you're not sharing knowledge one way or another, seniors to juniors and juniors to seniors. And I mentioned both of those because as a senior, you definitely have to be able to explain why, decisions that have been made, ways that things are implemented. But at the same time, you have to listen to the junior developers as they ask questions. When they say why, you have to be able to respond, number one, or listen and just think for like, well, heck, why are we doing that? And if the junior comes with like, well, hey, have you heard about this new thing? I just read this thing. I just listened to this dope podcast where they read books all the time. And they came up with this idea where hey, you can do this XYZ. And so as a senior dev, you need to listen to that. You need to say, hey, maybe we should consider doing it that way.
I agree. That was my favorite of the three use cases for sure.
I agree.
It was, being able to use AI in such a way to bounce and improve productivity. That's clutch for me. For me. Let's move on to the next one.
The next one
in the Google Cloud.
Yeah, Google Cloud. And for this one, he brought a sports approach to it with Major League Baseball and the Australian Football League So one cloud platform, two different sports league, kind of doing their own different things. For Major League Baseball,
on Major League Baseball, please.
Yeah, we just talk about Major League Baseball for sure, because I thought this was really kind of innovative what they did. So in Major League Baseball, in order to streamline the game, Major League Baseball MLB introduced the pitch clock, giving players only 15 seconds to throw a pitch. The clock, and he shows a figure in the book, it needs to synchronize throughout the arena where the game is being played with the clock, and also on the television broadcast as well. So, with any sort of system, you're going to have a delay across the wire. That delay could be minimal to the point where the human eye doesn't even notice it, or it could be seconds, depending on like what's happening in real time in the stadium and what we see on television or on a web app or a mobile app or something like that. So Major League Baseball wanted something that could synchronize all these clocks so that they were, they were synchronized. They were all together.
Yes. So that was their it was short because there were two on Google in this chapter, but this one was pretty fascinating. They solved a problem. Their stakeholders, the teams, the staff, the players, the people who were in the stands. Being able to be on the same page with the count, with the pitch count and pitch clock, whatever. And that's important. And I don't know now, what we don't know is how, and I may have missed that, but how does that play out for people who are viewing it? Like, if there's always going to be that delay, but the most important thing is inside the stadium, everybody is on the same. They're seeing it in real time. In real time. So I thought that was cute.
Yeah, and the solution, he just says, using Google Cloud's Anthos service mesh to coordinate all the pitch clocks together. It was a centralized yet distributed time clocks that added to the integrity of the game and the new rules of the 15 seconds to throw a pitch. The other thing that I thought was interesting in this particular business case was that the introduction of the play clock reduced the time of games for an average baseball game by 24 minutes. So they're saving people's time in their lives, basically.
Wait a minute. And didn't they calculate
he did
saved
by all the millions of viewers or attendees and everything, the millions of minutes that are saved, throughout these people's lives as they engage with Major League Baseball. I thought that was kind of interesting.
That was very interesting. That was absolutely interesting. And it wound up being 3,200 years of time was saved by shaving off 24 minutes across, like, there's hundreds of games every year. So that's how they extrapolated the number. And they talked about all the viewers. So you think about, you are wasting our time. And now we got 24 minutes of our life back. We got tons of time of our life back. Thanks, MLB.
I know, right? And thanks, Google Cloud. For the Anthos service, bringing that to us.
That was dope.
Yeah, it definitely was. Which brings us to the end of this particular discussion.
Yes.
I'm as much as I or as high hopes as I had coming in to this chapter,
remember, we were just giddy.
I was so excited.
You were more excited than me, of course.
If you know me and my background and the interaction, the content that I've developed around CI/CD, I know, man. I was like, let's talk about it. Let's chop it up. Let's do the thing. And I was left, kind of disappointed. But I did find some silver linings in these clouds of disappointment. So it was all good. I'm excited for the next chapter. I'm gonna try to project my excitement forward to the next chapters and see what we can glean from those as well.
Well, let's move and take a quick peek at what we'll be talking about next. Yeah, there it is.
There it is. Coming up, chapters 11 and 12. Chapter 11 is MLOps and data ops, and I believe chapter 12 is Python and infrastructure as code.
Now, again, that sounds like something to be excited for. It does, doesn't it? It's just like, what's your appetite? Like, oh, this is going to be all that. And there's a quote, chapter 11, by one of the greatest comedians ever. We'll save that one. But yes, we're coming in fast and hot on this book. So we'll be back next week talking about chapter 11, the good one, and chapter 12, Python and infrastructure as code. That is definitely, this is where it's all coming from. This is the culmination. And again, I'm very excited. I mean, we've been excited about we're easily excited.
Like I said, is that what it is? Downs. Yeah. It's been a roller coaster. It's been a roller coaster ride.
It is, but I'm enjoying it. I'm riding with my friend and I'm enjoying the ride, and it gives me an opportunity to read and, play a little bit with code and have conversations like this.
Yes.
Where do you get to have conversations like this?
Nowhere but on the From Cover to Code podcast. That's where I find my technology book discussions every week.
I look forward to this. This is such a gem to me that we have people who listen. We have people who may or may not read along, but want to hear our hot takes, and they want to put their opinions in the chat. We are all for that. So thanks for rocking with us week in and week out, season in and season out. We do appreciate it. We really do.
And to that point, just shout out to a couple folks that joined us live.
Yes.
Welcome back, Sterling. We're saying hello to David. Tech Coach Ralph said, Angela, those Python earrings are next level. Like I said, that's dedication to the craft right there.
You see them. Thank you, Tech Coach Ralph. I appreciate it.
He also says that he was actually planning to use Locust to load test their systems. So it'll be interesting to hear how that turns out. And your quote, Angela, is going to make it into Tech Coach.
Oh my God! Please do, tonight. Please do, please
You're
do.
already on your way. You are already on your way.
Yes, let's put it out there in the ethos. We want that quote to we want it to take off. We want it to take off.
Yes,
Terraform is a blessing and a curse. Oh, you are so funny. So, fun fact. I do this thing at work, and someone was like, we have tech talks, right, at work. And I'm like, I'm like the host. I don't get to do any tech talks. I will be doing my first tech talk on Terraform. And so far it's been a blessing, learning, going through it just to introduce people to it. But I guess I'll get to the curse part and maybe a curse word part. I don't know. I will come to Tech Coach Ralph when the time comes and be like, you know what, you were right. But yes, I'm very excited about learning all the things. This book introduced some really new thought processes to me, and that's why we go on the journey. That's why we do what we do.
That's why we come and talk about books. So thanks everybody for joining us, and we will see you next time right here.
Yep. Have a good one.
All right.
Thanks for listening.